Cornhole Nation, we are 2 nationals through our 4 national season. That means you know what time it is. It's time for conference power rankings. We'll see who sits atop the rankings. We also got ACL Pro Mike Torres coming on the show. He's going to talk about defending his home turf of Arizona for the 2019 ACL Bag Brawl coming up in May. This is the ACL Throwdown. This week's ACL Throwdown is brought to you by Johnsonville. Can't spell sausage without USA. Yes, Cornhole Nation, like I said, I'm going to have ACL Pro Mike Torres calling in all the way from Arizona, going to be on the show this week to talk about that upcoming national. But first, my hashtag Trey's Takes, and this week we are talking power rankings. I know I stirred the pot a little bit with my first power rankings. Why not do it again now that we are through our second national of the season? And another thing I'm going to do this week is I'm going to reveal to you guys for these top 5 conferences, their lineup for the 2019 WCO World Cup if the season ended today. Of course, we still got 2 nationals, a conference event, and plenty of regional play left in the season. But this will give you an idea who will be representing these top conferences at that WCO World Cup, which is going to be $25,000 up for grabs, and of course, all the bragging rights in the world. So let's get right to it. Let's see who my top 5 conferences are. I am excluding international teams at this point. Just going to be talking about some American teams. But first, number 5 on my power rankings list is the Mid-South Conference. Now, they are holding steady this time. They were at the same place they were in the first rankings. The Mid-South Conference, they have some great finishes in one particular division in particular, and that is our ACL Pro division. They're absolutely dominating the ACL Pro division, and that's the reason that they are breaking into this top 5. They have 3.5, that half being Derek King and Jordan Kamba, split in between 2 different conferences. But they have 3.5 teams in the top 10 in the ACL Pro division. Obviously, that's the highest out of any other conference, so they're leading the way there. The problem is they have no individual players in top 10 in overall standings. They do have 2 players in the top 20. In singles play, they have 2 players in the top 10, that being Matt Guy and Eric Zockline. So on the singles front, they're doing pretty well. Matt Guy obviously having an incredible finish, coming in third place at the 2019 ACL Cornhole Mania in advanced singles, so had a great finish there. He's had 2 second-place finishes at conference events to none other than Eric Zockline, who is also obviously having a great season. Matt Guy being the number 1 overall ranked singles player right now. Number 1 singles player, not overall. So he's definitely holding the front there, but the Mid-South needs a little bit of work to do to get into that top 3 range, especially in doubles play outside of that pro division. So for the Mid-South, your current WCO World Cup lineup would be Matt Guy, Eric Zockline, Damon Dennis, Philip Hayden, Jimmy McGuffin, Lester Price, Greg Geary, Cole Whitehead, Derek King, Corey Morrison, Terry Mathis, Nick Brummett, Jake Woodall, Josh Lunsford, Clinton Lucas, and Megan Maupin. So, tough lineup there. Definitely going to be a hard one to beat. But that is your number 5 ranked Mid-South Conference. Let's move on to number 4, and probably the most enthusiastic conference, and I know they are going to be very upset that they have dropped in the rankings, but I do have to do it. Dropping down to number 4, we have the Great Lakes Conference. Now, these guys Obviously, in singles, have a great individual player, arguably the hottest in the country right now, and that's Ryan Windsor. He won advanced singles at the 2019 ACL Cornhole Mania. He came in second place at the 2019 ACL Kickoff Battle. They have a Crew Cup win at the ACL Kickoff Battle. But guys like Ryan Windsor, you don't even have all your points in yet. You don't have all your regionals in. You don't have a second conference in. They're way down in the rankings. So if you're on the Great Lakes and you want guys like Ryan Windsor playing, make sure they get their tournaments in. They got one top 10 overall player in standings, two in the top 20. They also have two ACL Pro teams in the top 10 in ACL Pro standing. So they're doing okay in standings perspective. And to be honest with you, they're very top heavy right now. Ryan Windsor, you're doing a great job of carrying the team. Some guys like Mike Jacquis and Dave Morse, they're doing a great job of holding him up. Isidro Herrera and Dave Sutton also doing well. But aside from that, really the bottom half of the Great Lakes Conference needs to step up and represent. Let's look at their top 16 right now. We have Jason Rubin, Dave Morse, Mike Jacquis, Dustin Butler, Steve Ochoa, Derek Singleton, Chris Novi, Tom Gorski, Jeremy Schermerhorn, Ethan Morgan, Bryson Jacobs, Miguel Villa, Adam Deere, Jeremy Wheeler, Wade Whitted, and Ryan Woodell. So that's another 16 there. That's our number 4, our Great Lakes Conference. Now, at number 3, I think they're holding steady here, if I remember correctly. That is the Atlantic Conference. So the Atlantic Conference, obviously the 2018 WCO World Cup champion. So they have a big target on their back, but they are doing well. And there are some strong finishes away from really taking away that number 1 spot. They have 4 overall players in the top 20 in overall standings. They have 2 pro teams, ACL pro teams, in the top 6 in the ACL Pro division. They were advanced doubles champions at the Cornhole Mania, that being Jay Corley and Tyler Poitras. I'm kind of giving a full point there when it's really just half of Jay Corley. They had a partial Crew Cup victory. Again, Jay Corley representing there. Women's doubles finalists. So this is another thing I wanted to focus on. You had Tiffany Fincham and Tammy Williams coming in second place at the Cornhole Mania in women's doubles. So they're representing the conference very well as well. So number 3, Atlantic Conference. And for their top 16 right now, we have James Washington, James Baldwin, Leston Allen, Jordan Kamba, Jay Corley, Matthew Morton, Alan Rockwell, Kenzie Beach, Wally Justice, Michael Dingus, John Kitchen, Michael Lucas Jr., Jamie Fincham, Brad Powers, Alvin Miller, and Timothy Pitcher. So the Atlantic Conference got a strong lineup. There's still some people down there below 16 that really want to make their way up, but the Atlantic Conference coming in strong. Now my top 2 here. Here are the top 2. Number 2 on my conference power rankings is the conference that gave me the absolute most flack for my first conference rankings of the season. They felt disrespected. They felt like they were being picked on, and that's great. I told them use it as motivation, and they certainly did, especially at the second national of the season. That is the Mid-East Conference. Right now, they hold number 5, number 7, and number 10. That's 3 players overall in the top 10 of overall standings. Trey Birchfield was a finalist at the ACL Cornhole Mania in advanced singles, a second place there. Continued domination in women's doubles by Stacia Pugh and Christine Papke. Their closest loss coming to another Mid-East player. Their closest loss, I should say, closest win. Carrie Mittermiller and Brittany Emge pushing Pugh and Papke to the limit. They have 2 pro teams, ACL pro teams in the top 6 of the ACL Pro division. And of course, they had an ACL Pro second place finish with Adam Hissner and Cody Henderson at the Cornhole Mania. So the Mid-East really turned it around, and they turned it around quickly. So big props to them on able to turning it around and get to that number 2 spot in my rankings. Let's take a look at their top 16 right now. Cody Henderson, Adam Hissner, Devin Harbaugh, Trey Birchfield, Barry Hempy, Jay Dotson, Stacia Pugh, Chucky Love, Ken Schaaf, Jeff Reynolds, Christine Papke, Tim Anderson, Sean Short, Dave Collins, Dennis Posey, and Alan Scottco. That is a loaded lineup, ladies and gentlemen. So you better watch out for the Mideast. They're going to be coming hard for that title in August. And finally, number 1 on my conference power rankings, there's no change. No change at all. Number 1, the Southeast Conference. They continue to push out top-level talent, and there's no reason why they shouldn't keep it the rest of the year. Obviously, these other conferences are going to be fighting for it, but man, their resume is just ridiculous. In overall standings, they have number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the rankings. You have a national, at a national, you have an advanced singles winner, Dalton McClem, at the kickoff battle. You have a 2-time appearance in the 4-team playoff of Emery Parker and Matthew Sorrells in pro doubles, back-to-back nationals, back-to-back ESPN appearances. You have guys like Sean Anderson and Noah Wooten, who are not pros but are staying near the top of overall and single standings. So the Southeast is absolutely loaded right now, and they are looking to take home that title in August. So you got to keep watching out for the Southeast. I have no reason to not knock them down from their number 1 spot. Somebody else is going to have to take it from them. Let's take a look at their top 16, which is also loaded. You have Sean Anderson, Kyle Malone, Noah Wooten, Tanner Halbert, Matthew Sorrells, Davis Streaker, Colby Usry, Kevin Smith, Cheyenne Renner, Sam Finley, Tex Chrisman, Burt Blackwell, Chad Fisher, Chris Burrell, Scott Schultz, and David Searle. You don't even have guys on there right now like Ashton Speece or Emery Parker, who, like the Great Lakes Conference, haven't got on their tournaments in yet. So you got to tell them, get your tournaments in so you get to that top 16 at the end of the season. So there are your rankings. You got number 5, the Mid-South. Number 4, the Great Lakes. Number 3, the Atlantic. Number 2, the Mid-East. And number 1, staying at the top, you have the Southeast. I hope you guys enjoyed my power rankings. You can tell me all about how wrong I am in the comments section. Share it away. Get mad. I love to see the enthusiasm. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to stop with my rankings and get to my conversation with ACL Pro Mike Torres going into this 3rd National of the Year and see how excited he is to defend his home turf in Arizona.
ACL Pro Mike Torres on the show this week, calling in all the way from Arizona, the Desert State, getting ready for that 3rd ACL National of the season. It is going to be a great one, the first taste of the ACL out west here in 2019. Mike, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me this week. And let's roll right into it. Mike, are you excited? What are you excited about specifically just to have a national in your backyard? Are you fired up about it?
Yes, I am. First of all, thank you for having me, Trey. I really appreciate it. Yes, everybody out here out west is really happy about that. Really excited to have a national here. It just took us by surprise when Todd did it for us. You know, I mean, we worked on it, and all of a sudden we had it, and people are just ecstatic. We can't wait.
Yeah, and I know Todd has talked a lot to me about just the social presence and a lot of players getting into the game. So, and he's talked to me specifically about how you kind of taken on almost a mentor role to some of these newer players. Would you say that's something that you're passionate about? Do you like the teaching aspect of cornhole and bringing some of these newbies into the game?
Yes, it is. I really, really enjoy teaching the game and helping others out that are new to it. Matter of fact, sometimes I get more joy out of seeing these guys improve as I help them more than I do winning sometimes, because it's just such a good feeling to see them get better at it, Really like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's had nothing but great things to say about you, and I can't wait to sit down a little bit more and talk some more, especially when we get to these nationals. But, talking about these nationals, let's look at your season so far. You had a good, decent start to the season. I'll let you kind of categorize it yourself, but I really had a chance to watch you for the first time in St. Louis. And doing a little bit of research and going back and looking at it, you went on a 4-game winning streak in advanced singles. You had a big run there for a while. What did you do differently in St. Louis that allowed you to have such success and have such a strong finish?
Well, a lot of practice, and after Florida, I got to see what I was, up against. The guys back east, they're so good and everything, and I just did a lot of practicing and mostly tried to not get in my head myself. That's where I have problems at, and the nerves, and I just threw a good game. When I'm on, I'm on. It's just, sometimes I just get too nervous and lose it, but yeah, I had a good run there for a little bit, and I hope to do better. Maybe here in Arizona I could show a little bit better.
Yeah, and I did have to chuckle a little bit. You did get a chance to eliminate, your hometown buddy there, Bill Hadley. So I know that was probably a little bit of bittersweet for you to be able to advance after eliminating him. But at the same time, I know you were probably rooting for your hometown friend. But yeah, so again, looking forward here for the rest of the season. You mentioned it. You have this big national coming up here in just a few weeks now, and then we also have the rest of the season. So I'm just going to ask you, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking to accomplish throughout the rest of the year?
Just to improve, to get better at each national. I feel I can play with the best of them if I don't get in my head. And I got in I forgot where I was at, in the 30-some place in St. Louis. Just to improve and maybe get in the top 20, hopefully maybe top 10. With that said, yeah, I'd like to show a good outing here in Arizona.
Yeah, and I know how important it is. I know the West is coming strong. They want to bring some notoriety to the name of that Western Conference, and I know that you're going to lead the charge, no doubt about that. All right, I'll put you on the spot here. All right, I didn't prepare you for this one, but I'm going to test you real quick. All right, so who are a couple players that you think are going to come out to this Arizona National that not many people know, that you think are really going to make a difference, may make some noise, may upset some of these better players? Who are some hometown names we should be looking out for?
Well, you gotta, we have Bill Haggerty, and we have, who else do we have? Doug. They're such good players. They're out here in the West. There's so many good players. California has great players. You have Brett Holland, Ken Jones, Blake, Eric. I mean, these guys from California are really good. Colorado has great players. BJ Torres, Harry, Vegas, Jeff Link, Eric Hubbard, Jeff Spiegel, such many good players out here that don't really get to play in the Nationals. There's so many good ones. I hope they all show, and I hope that we do a good outing, because I know they've been waiting for it,
Yeah, no doubt about that. Mike, that is all the time that we've got for this week on the ACL Throwdown. Thank you so much for sitting down, for chatting with me, and good luck in a few weeks as you attempt to defend that home turf back in Arizona.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you.
I know for many of you, that was the first time getting the opportunity to hear from ACL Pro Mike Torres. You can tell how passionate he is about the sport and the game of cornhole. So next time you see Mike at a national, make sure you stop by and say hello. Thank you for that, Mike. Meanwhile, registration for that 2019 ACL Bag Brawl is open. You can go to app.iplayacl.com, log in with your login information, and register for our third ACL National of the year. It is going to be tough to follow up what was such a successful and competitive national in St. Louis, but Arizona is going to do their best. I sent out the challenge last week for the West to represent at this national, so we'll see how it goes. Make sure you get registered. It is going to be a blast as always. That's all the time that we got this week for the American Cornhole League. This is Trey Ryder. We'll see you guys next week.